good to go? Oh, man. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Truckery podcast. I'm your host, Devin from OBS Solutions. Sitting across from me
is John from Carrot Customs.
We really we should switch on and off so no one really thinks that I own the podcast. Like, you should do it one day.
Oh, sure.
I do it next time,
yeah.
Right? Like,
I mean, it's a joint
effort.
Yeah.
A team, if you will.
We have built a partnership.
It's a shitty ship, but there you go. Barely float some days.
And you're the first person that always told me the worst ship ever built is a partnership.
Oh, damn it. You're right. All right. Well, moving on. We won't talk about that. Mm-hmm. Let's, real quick, though. We've talked, our last podcast, we told people that we're actually going to take this seriously. We've been half-assing it, and we want to, like, man up and, like, take this podcast thing seriously. We've done the homework. We've got the hardware, software, and all that stuff. But more importantly, we've got an individual to help us streamline this process and make it better.
Yes.
Right?
We do.
So we're going to introduce our what would you give Colin his title? Do we have to give him a title at this point?
I don't know. Producer.
There you go. That would work.
That sounds fine.
that sounds fine.
Well, yeah. Don't put your expectations too high. Just, I'm just here.
Junior producer.
Sure. Yeah.
So Colin comes from a background. He has his own podcast where they talk about Audis and cars like that, which we're not going to discuss right now.
I think it's actually more. It's
all car stuff.
Like Fox body Mustangs.
Well, we do have a Fox body lover in our pod.
Are you serious?
Yeah, big time.
I love that. Okay.
The whole reason I reached out to Colin about this, I mean, we've known each other loosely for like 15 years, but he invited me on their podcast. And his setup was way more dialed than ours.
And you're like, oh shit! I'm an amateur in the pro ranks here.
So when we were talking about finding somebody to edit, I'm like, let me reach out and see if it's something that he would be interested in. So,
well, Colin, thanks so much for coming to our half-ass show here and helping us streamline. It's a big deal, so we appreciate that very much.
Yeah, that's I enjoy doing it with my group. And so when he asked, it was just like, yeah, why not? Like, I kind of like streamlining it and getting everything. I have an ear for like, I hate the way that sounds because, like you listen to a podcast, you want it to sound, if you were to listen to a podcast and it sounds like shit, does it make you want to continue to listen to it?
No.
Exactly. So when it sounds good on the front, it can make up for like oh, well, we're a small podcast, we're not pros type of stuff.
Okay.
Like the sound should be paramount.
Okay, that's bold comment. I like that. All right.
I'm with that.
So Colin pulls up. John gave me kind of a little backstory. Like, you're a car guy. I'm like, okay, he's going to pull up in. Like, I figured Central Oregon guy, native, right?
No, I'm from the Valley.
You are?
Yeah, I moved over here when I was like 18, 19.
Oh, okay. He's one of me. Log trucks.
We're in the Valley.
Yeah.
Tiny town, Yamhill.
Oh, okay. I know where Yamhill is.
Yeah, I grew up out there.
All right, sweet. Yeah. Okay, so I figured you'd be pulling up in like a Subaru or something, being a Central Oregon guy, but then you tell me you hate Subarus.
Subarus are the worst. Yeah.
Okay, so he tells me that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, and then you say you're Audi guy, which is how you and John met.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so I figured you'd pull up that, but no, you don't. You pull up in a ZR2 Colorado.
Yes.
And it's not just stock. It's got what is it, 37s underneath it?
It does have 37s, yeah.
Which is impressive to me that you can fit 37s under a Colorado.
Yeah, you can fit 37s with no lift as long as you're willing to cut, which is, obviously nobody's going to remember if you can't cut your truck up, right?
Yeah.
But I've got the AEV flares on it, which you can put those flares on.
Cut it up.
You have to cut it to put the flares on. And you're supposed to be able to fit 35s, no lift, and it won't rub anywhere. And when I found that out, I was like, So I put those flares on and I do 2 inches of lift, tiny amount of lift. I can fit 37s. And so that's what I did.
I love it. I think the ZR2 stuff's so rad. I love everything about it. The Colorado body style's killer too.
Yeah.
First one is really a little bit goofy, right? But this, what would you second? Would that be second gen
this
Colorado?
This is technically a second gen, yeah.
Okay,
I liked the first gens.
You do?
Yeah, but they came
the
with
cat eye.
Yes, they were cat eye. Yes, they were a cat eye style. You're right. That's a good,
But you couldn't get them in the Duramax. The what is that new like 2.8 liter Duramax that they did in the Colorados.
Well, that's the second. Those were in the second gens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. I want one of those trucks.
Yeah.
So what powertrain's in that then?
It's just the gassed V6.
How's it pull the 37s?
I haven't really noticed much of a difference.
Did you gear it then?
No, it's not
No.
geared yet either.
What?
No.
And I was told you took this on the Rubicon?
Yes. With less lift than it has now. Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's awesome.
That is impressive. And it looks mean.
It does.
On a set of methods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they the bead grips?
Yep. B grips. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's a way to go because then you're not dealing with bolts on a bead lock. They're not leaking air. You're not trying to glue them on so they don't leak. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty solid. How low have you aired that down at, or have you?
I've done single digits and not had. I
No
mean,
problems.
I was at like 6 for the whole Rubicon and didn't have any issue whatsoever.
Wow. That's impressive. That's really
Yeah,
good.
I've seen stories of guys running 1-0
No
like
shit.
in the snow and
No problems.
and having no issue with them. And like that for me, that was what sold me on
Right.
that style of wheel.
So how many miles are on that truck?
You're gonna be surprised.
Okay.
So it's an 18 and it just rolled to 36,000.
Okay. It looks good.
Yeah.
And what's cool is like, you said you're not
That's
a Toyota
pretty
guy.
low, right?
That is low.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
low
I
mile.
bought it with 23.
Which is gnarly.
Yeah.
Was it an old guy or something like that?
I have no idea on the history of it. It was because it was at a dealership
Okay.
and I traded some shit in for it, and because like I wanted one of those,
Yeah.
not a Toyota.
No.
So Colin informs us we are in Toyota Subaru land for you people out there that don't know Central Oregon or Oregon in general, right?
Right.
This is Subaru Toyota land. Well, it's changing. You see a lot of Teslas and Range Rovers and that kind of
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
right? But Toyotas are a staple. And when you said you're not a Toyota guy, I'm like, what? No, stop that. Tacomas are the shit. And you're like, no, I like this because this. And I'm like, okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a front locker,
Oh,
factory.
factory
front
front locker.
and rear.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's why the ZR2 was my
Go-to.
go-to because it's like, well, I can buy a Tacoma for more than what I paid for a ZR2.
Right.
I don't have a front locker and I can't fit 37s. So
I mean,
Wow.
that's
a good
pretty
argument.
factual. So I
what else
too.
done suspension?
Yeah, I was gonna say what is that?
so it has a 2-inch shackle in the back. That's it.
Okay.
And the front, I did a adjustable coilover conversion on it because there's like a sleeve kit basically that you can just put on the factory shock because
Okay.
they have like the DSSV shocks in the front that are like it's not a remote reservoir, but they're reservoir shocks. They're kind of like
a piggyback.
Was
yeah.
the reservoir fake? Was it just for looks?
No, it's actually real.
It was
like
legit,
and everything about like people seem to love them. Like as far as people that aren't like doing crazy shit,
Yeah.
they seem to love them. So I just figured, well, I'll just do like the bare minimum for now because it's such a low mile truck.
Yeah.
And once they blow, that's when I'll like get serious on suspension. So it just has an upper control arm and the coilover on it with a different spring.
How's
So-
the aftermarket for that body style? Is it supported really well?
It's not a Toyota,
Right.
but it's pretty decent. It's
I mean,
not
because you're
bad.
seeing more Colorados, especially now, like the new generation.
Mhm.
You're seeing more Colorados and Rangers out there, and less like not that the Toyotas are like dissipating, but you're starting to see people put money, especially the new Ranger. I just
Oh,
saw
yeah.
something on the gram where there's a company doing a straight axle kit for the new,
I
Ranger.
saw that too.
and it looked mean. I don't know what axle they're using though. I didn't dive into that.
I think it's Super Duty.
I think it'd be too wide, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
that'd probably be too wide. It's probably a 44 from something.
I don't know, but with the fact that
Yeah.
whoever's making this, you'd have to have a supply of axles or something,
Yeah.
but it looked legit. And I'm like, being a Toyota guy, I love them, but it's cool to see the new Colorados, the Rangers coming aboard. And you're seeing some really cool stuff with these trucks.
Well, and to get a truck that has 2 lockers from the factory, a 2-inch lift and flares and run 37s and go do the whole Rubicon, like that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that we have, so at the shop, we have my shop foreman just bought a new Toyota. And then one of our line techs they have identical Toyotas, dude. One's a TRD, and then the other one's just kind of a sport one. But they're really, I do like that turbo engine. It does do way better than the one I have.
Like the 4-cylinder.
Yeah, turbo.
Yeah,
It's pretty spicy, but it still doesn't. I think the Colorado body style and the Ranger body style looks a little bit better. I hate to say that. I think it looks cooler.
I do that. So I have like a thing for Aussie Ute trucks.
Okay.
Like the Hilux that America never got,
Yep.
Things like that. And I think that the Ranger looks super Aussie to me, which I love.
The hood slopes down like a Hilux. You're right. Good call.
But the ZR2 kind of combines like Aussie look with like some American big truck ish styling, so it's like kind of this middle ground.
Wouldn't it be cool if you got the bed of the Hilux that like they do that bob bed that's more like a flat bed kind of thing. You see them on some Hiluxes.
Tray bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so cool looking.
Yeah. I have a hard time with the newer trucks with tray beds because sometimes they don't. It almost doesn't fit. Yeah. You feel like a tray bed is like period.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like on a 79 series or something like that. Yeah. But there are some that are pretty good. It's just, that's a huge investment. So
that is.
Well, when Colin started telling me about the ZR, like he pulls him a ZR2 and I'm like, okay, this guy's cool, ZR2. And I'm like, dude, those are 37s. I walked out there, get a coffee out of the shop. I'm looking like, those are 37s. Like that's pretty gnarly. And they're not just like a bro wheel with a rubber band tire. Like they're serious. And you go, oh yeah, it went on the Rubicon.
Look and there's like dings on
yeah, and they're rough.
Wheels.
Yeah. And then,
I beat the wheels up pretty bad.
And it's on rock sliders, legit ones. You have sliders on it. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is like, I can work with this. This is awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I got it to camp in and to wheel it.
Which you have a CVT on top, which is a staple around these parts.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So my hat's off to you. It's pretty legit.
It's on, but yeah.
It's on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So real quick to end this, so Colin, you're into cars though. So what do you have for cars then?
Currently I've got a 91 Audi V8 Quattro.
Okay.
So it's the predecessor to an A8, but it's just old big chassis Audi.
And what do you do with that? Just a driver, have fun with it, road, like street car?
I make it undrivable.
Make it undrivable.
It's really, really low.
Okay. So, you're into slamming stuff.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a picture that we'd be able to see?
Yeah.
We'll have to post a picture.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite color blue, Lago blue.
Yeah, Lago blue.
Oh man,
really low.
It's a
App Sportline S1s. Yeah.
So it's all like cleaned out. It's like nice. It's pressed out.
So it's the third V8 that I've had. I've had 3 of these cars over my life. Second one that's blue. First one was pearl white. This one is by far the nicest one. I got it. It was a single owner. The guy I got it from was the original owner. He owned it as a lease, like as a company car. He was like a wine salesman.
Oh.
And he liked it so much during the lease that he bought it and kept it even though he got a new lease car for his company car.
Wow.
And he's just had it ever since. So it's doesn't even have 150,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And it is just, it's the cleanest one that I've seen in person, like ever.
So when the weather changes, it goes away. It goes inside. You store it away.
Yeah. One, it's so low that the amount of snow we get here, I would just get high centered.
Sure.
But also, it's the one that I kind of want to keep nice.
Which is tough, even in the summer around these parts with the cinder on the road and stuff. That'd be tough too.
You gotta wait a bit.
Yeah.
I've screwed up with that before and
came out
ruined lips on my wheels and have been very mad about it.
Oh shit. Well, I can't wait to look at a picture of that. I'm stoked on that.
It's a cool car. And then before we started this, you were just asking him about Ford trucks, and you were saying
that's right.
Yeah.
So you've had some OBSs.
I have not personally owned any OBSs.
Smart man.
I grew up though with them. The first truck I remember my parents having was a brick nose F-150, and it was an extra cab, had the silly split window extra cab, in the back.
It made you feel like you're in jail in the back, right?
Tiny little seat, and then when I was I must have been 6th grade or something like that. my family upgraded to a 97 7.3 F350 crew cab long bed, just
the generic,
quintessential,
the do everything truck.
Yep, and it was the dark blue. I don't know what the names of the colors are, but
we get lost in those too.
Yeah, but it was dark blue, and ever since then, like, it was just like I was in love with that truck as a kid. I got to use it a little bit when I was in high school, shit like that, and yeah, it was just, it forever is one of my favorite trucks, and I've come close to owning some, and they just have never. It's just never worked out.
Right.
So,
well, you're on this podcast with us and working with us, so you might end up with one, and then you'll regret it because they're a hole to throw money into.
That's every car though.
That's true. It sounds like you've done that with obviously the ZR2 and your Audi. So
yeah, I tend to do that. Yeah.
You're in good company.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that speaking, Colin, thanks so much for coming on, helping us out.
And what else? Shout out your podcast.
Oh, so
please do.
Campfire Passport Podcast is the one that I'm a mainstay in. And we are basically just a bunch of car dudes that talk shit on cars. But we have like an off-road leaning to it, but we will 100% get sidetracked on anything car.
But you talk shit on cars.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like this.
I mean,
I like that a lot. That's a good. I like that.
Our group grew up in the age of talking shit on cars in forums. Like, people hating you because you say that's dumb in a forum, and so that's kind of why, like I was telling you, usually I'm the one that everyone hates because I don't keep my mouth shut when I don't like something. So.
I can't wait to hear what you don't like about Toyotas.
It's not necessarily Toyotas in general. It's just,
there's a million of them out there.
Yeah.
A million of them out there. Okay.
Yeah.
We can work with this.
Yeah. Campfire Passport Podcast.
Yep.
It's great.
Thank you. Well, you've been on there. So
I have once.
Did you talk shit on cars? You're not really a shit talker. You're really like.
I don't know. We talked a little F1. Which I'm no expert on.
Well, you did admit your faults in liking European cars like me.
Oh, yeah.
So
I looked at both you guys as window lickers when you said you like European cars. That really scared me.
There are so many cars that I like. I wish that I could have like an endless budget and like showroom to just like...
Cars, really?
Oh, well, not just cars.
Oh, but cars and trucks.
Cars and trucks and there's so many cool things out there.
I'm just glad that Colin said one of the guys on his podcast is a Fox Body. That's the only car I like. Fox Body Mustang.
It's the only car
100%,
you
dude. I am not a car guy. I like the Fox Body Mustang all the years of it. That is my go-to. If I was gonna have a car, that'd be it.
Well, there you go.
The car thing to me, but hey, each to his own. You guys like weird German, European stuff. More power to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plastic cooling systems, and I love that. That's like great. That. Love that.
Well, I've said it many times. The obvious, like, how you can tell someone is a car person is when they can talk shit on everything that's stupid about the cars that they like.
That's true.
That's true. Okay.
You can't just 100% back cars. If someone says that this is the best car ever and it has no faults, that's not a car person.
Yeah. It's a fact. I mean, OBS4s, we talk shit on them all the time about how derpy they would be.
Yeah. And like German cars, I swear,
plenty of faults.
They in the 90s, especially 80s and 90s, did not know how to make plastic.
Oh, it smells like crayons.
And it just breaks.
That's the mold that's under the carpet, actually.
That's the mold.
You ever notice like every Volkswagen or Audi smells like smells like a crayon?
Oh yeah,
yep, that's a Mark IV thing.
What is that about?
Is a Mark IV what my Jetta is?
Yeah.
Yes. First time he gets into that, which
crayon.
It's a classic Mark IV smell. Yeah.
Where does it come from?
It's mold.
No, it's not mold.
Yeah, it is.
No way, because they're like, even like I remember when the Volkswagen Bugs came out.
They found out that that's what it was. It's like the chemical that's in the carpet.
Yeah.
And that's how it degrades. And like that's the smell it emits when it degrades.
Crayons.
Yeah.
So the chemicals in the carpet degrade into mold.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a harmful mold?
Like, is it something you shouldn't drive and breathe?
I mean, everybody else is doing it, so why not?
Maybe it's a mold that makes you love the European car more.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, it could be that.
I've only owned one Mark IV, and I liked them before that, so...
Well, maybe that's not it.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Not be that.
You're
Sorry.
killing me.
I've only owned one, too.
It's just all the timing belts and water pumps and all the stuff we've done to those things in the past. I just remember, I'm like, man, these things getting in and out of them. I was like, fuck these things. Like smell like mold, and the buttons are always fragile. And then you have the Mercedes that have like the push buttons would always like break the early stuff.
Yeah.
They sucked.
I've only had one Mercedes.
Oh, it's like Mercedes and BMWs. They're all like, it's like some guy in Germany was like making all the buttons, it seemed like, and they were just not a hard plastic to push, right?
Yeah.
But then you get in a Ford and you're like, well, the dials break and like the door panels rattle and stuff. So really, maybe we should just go back to 70s trucks were all steel. I mean,
yeah, there's issues there too.
I don't think it's a
there's issues
There's
everywhere.
issues
If you can't
everywhere.
admit it, that's the problem.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's right. All right. So moving on, what are we going to talk about today,
Thank you,
John?
Colin.
Thank you, Colin. Thanks for coming on our show, helping us out.
I'm learning this device, so bear with me. How do I mute it? Oh, there we go. You have to push and hold for a bit. Got it. Yeah, what do you want to go over?
So real quick, I found this on Instagram because I'm always like, I'm not on there very often, but this Instagram page, I'm just going to give it to you. Here, I'm going to show you here. Check this out. It's all,
Obsession Fords 928.
yes, you got to check this out.
Okay. Can I pull it up?
You should, yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, okay.
I found this accidentally when
Thank you.
Kenny was doing something, and I was like, someone sent us a message, and I'm like, that's a pretty unique truck. And I went to this guy's page, and
We can crack a window if we need to.
yeah, I might have to. And check this out. It's all like Hispanic stuff in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what this is, right?
Well, it's Yuma, Arizona, so
Yeah,
it's
but
pretty dang close.
Close enough. But look at, it's all half-ton stuff in Broncos.
Okay.
But look at some of the stuff. This is why I love the half-ton market, and no one ever talks about it, is they have some of the most unique features, like Eddie Bauer stuff, flare side stuff,
Yes.
the best color combos.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
did. They had I feel like an Eddie Bauer version of an F350 Power
Yes,
Stroke,
would
like
be
a
killer.
97 Eddie Bauer. I don't know why they wouldn't have done that.
I don't know either.
It would have been so premium.
Right there. Check out this.
This one?
Yeah, to the right here. How cool is that? It's the same color as my Bronco, right?
Yeah.
It's that sand or whatever it is. But I love how these guys don't do monster lifts.
On super singles.
Yeah, and they're just running like a sand tire.
Yeah.
And they're out there. So there's videos. Check this out, you guys. This page is amazing because there's guys out there in the dunes with like half-ton trucks with maybe 2 inches of lift, or
Yeah.
maybe like, if that, correct it out. And they're out there just railing around in these things.
No, this is sweet. I need to follow. I had no idea.
I didn't either. And I just went down this rabbit hole, like looking at all these. But check out that color right there. And this middle one, very bottom.
The Calypso.
The Calypso right there.
Top and bottom with the, I
I mean,
like that.
when people
a
go like,
lot.
oh, I only like diesels or like crew cab long, I'm like, dude, look at the half-ton market, and the trucks are more affordable.
Oh, yeah.
And they're usually, like I've always said, they're straighter because they're not getting worked.
Yep.
And let's be honest, dude, like a single cab short bed,
Is
super rad to go rip around with the old lady, like date night or whatever. If you can have
Yes.
like, hey, I got my Super Duty or whatever to haul my toy hauler or whatever, and then like that's your fun
just
rig?
yeah,
Yeah.
your get around. That's one thing. I mean, it wasn't a half ton, but I miss my little single cab, my brown truck, or
That was
gold truck.
yes, that truck right there. If you click, I think that is a gentleman. Oh no, I'm wrong. Wait,
Does it have Scorpios?
I was looking to see.
Beto
Like,
Trocas or whatever.
no, it's not. It's not him. Damn it, I thought it was. But there is some really cool trucks on this page, and
What do you think of the flare sides?
You know what? I didn't like flare sides for a long time. Kenny and I were always going back and forth, but more and more, I think they're cool as hell.
Grant wants to do a flare side on his F250 crew cab short bed.
I think that'd be
that would
sick.
I think it'd look pretty cool.
There was some Instagram page was giving away a truck that was a flare side short bed. It was a flare side crew cab. It was a while ago.
Yes.
It was white, if I remember right.
I think that was Hodson.
Was that yes, correct. Something like that. And it
Motors.
looked good. It
Yeah.
looked really good. And it's hard to find those flare sides. You
Yeah.
don't see them very often.
I usually see them in like that pinkish reddish color.
Yeah, the one that always looks thrashed. You never see it
Yes.
nice.
Yes, it's never
No.
good quality.
Right.
Yeah.
It
No,
looks like it was like at a trailer park and like,
Yeah.
had a hard life.
Oh yeah.
But there's some cool stuff on that page. I thought I'd show you that because
That's,
I thought that was pretty unique.
Obsession Fords 928, run by Raymond Gomez.
Sure.
Gomez?
You pronounced it better than I would. Anyway, Raymond's doing a good job because that's pretty cool. I spent quite a bit of time like going down those and checking them out. I like the Bronco right there, like just ripping it with like, and they're not even like big lifted stuff.
No, it's just fun.
Right.
Yeah, that thing's super cool. I want a single cab short bed half ton really bad, but I have too many other projects that I need to get.
It sounds like we all do.
Wrapped up.
I mean, even Colin has a lot of projects. It sounds like too that
Yeah, well, you're good at like you finish like a full project and then move on to the next one, and it's
my OCD in me. I can't start multiple stuff. I have to finish one before I start another one.
Yeah, and that's a good quality. I need that.
I don't know if it sucks because then I just like dive into it. Don't come out like just, hey, we're 100% involved in this. I don't want to do anything else.
Right.
We're all in because this needs to be finished and I can move on to the next thing. But I think I don't know. That's kind of how I roll. I like things finished.
I'm trying to finish the Duramax is a priority right now, but there's been so much traction with that suspension for the early Super Duties. I'm like, well, that has to,
right.
But there's also traction. People want the Duramax swap parts.
I think a Duramax in an OBS is another avenue, just like a 12 valve or a common rail or whatever. I think when you first told me that, I'm like, I don't know, John, it's kind of crazy. But then I saw it in the chassis and I'm like, it's legit.
It fits way too good.
And I'm like, and you think about what that power or what that engine can produce.
Yeah. Well,
and you made it to an Allison. It's got an Allison behind it. I mean, really, I don't think it's terrible. No. I don't think it's terrible at all. I think it's a great idea.
What I wanted was a, common rail modern diesel with a VGT turbo and a really nice 6-speed auto. I would even go for a 10-speed if I could, but the technology is just not there for the, the swap side of it. But I just want that modern comfort.
In an older and with an older body.
Yes. And it's got all the axles and suspension done too, but I think it's going to run quieter. It's the only problem with Duramax is, versus not the only problem, but versus like a Cummins is I did stock crank, stock rods, but better pistons, fully balanced rotating assembly. It's all dialed with main studs, head studs, and it's probably good for, some people will say like over 700, but it's like probably safe around 650 horsepower wise. And to go above that, you basically are spending like, there's no in between on like, it's either like 650, 700 horse, or you're capable of like 2000.
Oh, okay. Just it's like a light switch.
Yeah, because then it's time for a crank.
Right.
And a crank's like 8-10 grand.
Just money.
Set of rods.
Not a big deal. Go ahead and do it. Send it. But really though, once you do that though, is the chassis going to accept that, right?
I mean, but I don't even want that.
Yeah, what are you going to do with it? Be a pull truck?
No.
No, you just want to pull stuff over the pass.
That has like modern truck power that is reliable and I don't have to worry about. But a Cummins, you can get 1,000 horsepower out of a stock bottom end. Don't
say that very loud because all the hardcore Ford guys that listen to this are going to fucking come out of the woodwork and they're going to make comments about how terrible a Cummins and a Ford is, blah, 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 which we don't care. But I still think like, pick your poison. You want to have a spicy 7.3, great. It's going to make a bunch of EGTs depending on how you're towing or what kind of rubber or what kind of gearing and blah, blah, blah. There's so many different recipes. Put a Cummins in it with compounds. That's pretty impressive.
It does real well.
It doesn't build heat, makes great power. It's actually quieter with compounds, which you found out. So it's like, I mean, or do a Duramax. Go down that road, see how it is.
I like them all. I'm not knocking on any of it.
Exactly.
I think they're all fun, and it's just another avenue. The next next motor stuff we're gonna do will be 7.3 Godzilla.
I think that is something that people have touched on. People are doing it in certain stuff. I've even seen like one of the Bronco guys, the early Bronco guys, have doing a 7.3 in a early Bronco baby, what we call baby Bronco. Your early, late 60s, early 70s Broncos, which they shoehorned. In fact, Godzilla really, width-wise, when Ron and I are looking at it, really isn't much wider than a 351 kind of style. It's pretty narrow, like compared to your V10s back in the day and that kind of stuff.
Like the Triton V10s?
Yeah, we didn't, I mean, it's really, it wasn't it's pretty impressive how narrow they are to fit in the chassis.
Yeah.
So I think the Godzilla is a great. So Godzilla is like you could change out heads, and there's a lot more aftermarket support for them. In fact, I think Ford finally came out with a total engine package, like on a crate, ready to go.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Is because you can from Ford Performance, you can order a 7.3 Godzilla with a 10-speed auto, all the computers, everything you need for I think it's like 20 grand.
Which if you think machining costs and making, and it probably makes what, 500 horse?
500.
Yeah. What do we have in that little blue truck for the powertrain that makes 500 horse?
I don't know.
A ton of money, probably more than that when you figure out all the aftermarket stuff we put on it.
Yeah, and then you're looking just to have a tranny built, an E4OD.
Right.
There's 7-8 grand.
Well, then making it work with the fuel injection system and make it all talk together. We found out that's a hurdle depending on what platform you're going with.
Yeah. So 20 grand on a completely brand new, warranted engine and transmission combo. And then if the development, which is the goal is to make it to where you get that, you get the kit from us and it bolts all in.
Right.
You hook up all your hoses and then you have your drive shafts made and you're good to go.
I think, and then there's another company making intakes for them. That lower the intake so you can get them under the hood a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think that powertrain, everyone likes the Coyote stuff, but I think that Godzilla being, a cast iron block, which is pretty cool, and it's a pushrod engine.
Yep.
Right.
It doesn't have cam phasers.
It has a cam phaser.
It
does. Yeah. Ron,
Okay.
I lost a Snickers bet on this.
Oh.
Yeah. Cause at the shop we bet Snickers bars instead of cash cause we're too cheap. So I lost a Snickers bet saying I hate variable cam timing engines because of what we saw in the early Fords with oil sludging and causing all kinds of running problems with cam phasers.
Right.
So we were giving each other shit and he's like, you do know that the Godzilla is got a cam phaser. I said, no, Ron, you're full of shit. And he's like, no, literally, we did a bet and I lost. It does have a cam phaser on the cam.
On the cam.
Yes.
In the front.
Yes.
Huh.
Thought that was interesting.
Have you heard of any failures?
No, I haven't. Brian Castleman would be the one to talk to on that because he saw there was some early failures, but I don't think that was on anything to do with that.
Okay.
And it was on a motorhome chassis, if I remember right, that they had problems that he told me about. I could be wrong, so don't quote me. I have to get Brian on to talk about it, but I think that's been a pretty bulletproof platform.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah.
But, moving on, talking about, actually, Colin here's. Colin's already getting it up on the screen. Check it out.
Godzilla. Yeah, I think this is going to be so handy because, and now with it all, I feel like I don't know. We need to remind people that it is going to be video and on
we
YouTube
should. We should probably tell people
for a little while, just because. Yeah. So we are we're up in the game, and yeah, it's nice to be able to see.
Look at the predecessor was the 6.2. Wasn't that a Raptor motor? Wasn't those 6.2 in the Raptor?
Know. Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
Raptor motor.
There's your torque. Look, so specifications. Max power is 430 horsepower. Torque is 475. That's awesome. I can't remember what that 520 stroker of Colin Naylor's produced for torque. That'd be interesting I can't remember that, but I think it's a good looking engine too. Not a lot of crap hanging off of it.
The back of it is quite interesting. I guess there's no adapter plate or anything, but yeah, it looks very simple. I wonder how. That's the other thing I need to look at is accessories. The crazy thing with the Duramax is the accessories on the engine are all in the same locations as they are on a factory, on a Ford.
It was meant to be.
Power steering pump, AC compressor, alternator, it's all in the same spots.
So I mean, when you told me that, I'm like, no way. And once you looked at it, you're like, holy shit. To me, it's common sense. That was easy peasy meant to be.
Yeah. I wonder, I need to look more at those 7.3s, but I'm excited for those.
Well, moving on, we were going to bash some stuff today and talk about some stuff. And the one thing I brought up was the bro truck scene. Only because SEMA happened and all the pictures of all the bro trucks on rubber band tires and 30-inch,
30-inch
wheels and 16 wides and all that stuff. And all that stuff. I'm like, hey, John, we got to talk about this. I think it's funny to me when you start looking at the bro truck scene. I always wonder, how do they drive when they're like 14 inches of lift and your track bar is like at a 45? And
Right.
I always wonder, like, do you get a massive amount of bump steer in those things? Is it like a total, like,
I think it all depends at how flat they can get. I
Yeah.
mean, you can only get your track bar and your drag link so
Sure.
flat on that much lift.
so the bump steer would be gnarly, wouldn't it? When you think,
It could be okay as long as they're the same angles
Yeah.
and the same length. Like that's the biggest
that'd be tough.
factor. Yeah, it's a tough thing to package no matter what. But I think that some of them probably drive okay. I think a lot of them drive really terribly.
I would only imagine. I think it's funny because you look at the bro truck scene, and I hate to make fun. Like, it's hard to like make fun of the bro truck scene because you got older guys that make fun of like us doing like 8 inches of lift or 6 inches of lift and this and that. Like, why would you do that to a truck? So all we are is like we're just the next generation of old guys, right? Like, look at the young kids or these people going, why would you put a wheel, like a massive wheel with a little bit of rubber on it?
Right.
Right? Like, does that make us the old guys at this point?
I don't know. I think maybe I don't like having wheels on a truck. Like even just running the Weld super singles I've got.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of meat on the tires. I'm not worried about curb rashing them, but I couldn't imagine having a wheel that I would run on an Audi or something that's got a nice lip and
Looks legit, like all nice and
Yeah.
machined out and polished.
and like stressing about curbs like that.
Or some of those trucks are running such a small, like a low pro tire that I'd worry about potholes,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah, and you're on a what $2,000 wheel or more.
Oh, yeah.
You hit a pothole and just smoke it.
Yeah, or they get scratched and scuffed and you pay a guy like a ton of money to just polish everything out.
Yeah, I
And
don't know.
I can stomach the like, there you go right there. Thank you, Colin. That actually doesn't look bad. That truck, I mean, doesn't look terrible, by the way. It doesn't look it doesn't look like, I mean, I'm like trying to trying to be positive here.
Yeah,
Like trying to like, okay, but like, could we just do a little bit, like maybe like a decent amount of rubber on there? Maybe
I think the thing is you have to look at that vehicle as like it doesn't have a purpose besides
selling wheels.
looking good and like feeling good when you're driving it. I
Oh,
guess
okay.
like you're not buying that because you
It's
need
like-
a pickup truck.
You're if you're depressed, that's what you like. You go out there and drive that around. Then, oh, here we go, another one. Here we
Oh.
go. Now I got to be careful here, Colin, because I think that guy has our mirrors on there.
Does it really?
I think so. I think he's got a set of our billet mirrors. That truck actually like looks legit as a dually. Like that.
It's clean.
It's clean. Yeah, super. Not a lot of crap hanging off of it.
Like I can get behind it. I'm not at a point where I can just have a bunch of different vehicles that do nothing for me.
Well, it does. It markets his business. Maybe
It does.
I mean,
Yeah, so there
and
is that.
maybe gets him laid.
Yeah, it
I mean,
might.
maybe that's what pull up with that, and the chicks just flock. Or
That's what I need.
well, no, you don't because you're married, so you probably don't need that. But
Well,
it
no,
would be
if
something to
that
think
helps. I mean,
about. You could sell
being married
products.
doesn't mean you get laid all the time.
You could
Just
sell
saying.
products that way. You're like, hey, buy this like big bro suspension kit, and you'll get laid. That'd be a great marketing thing.
Oh, sex sells.
I mean,
It
holy
always does.
crap, we should think about that. Don't buy a door panel repair bracket; it will not get you laid. But buy the shiny tailgate panel; it'll get you laid.
Yeah, or it'll make all the dudes think you look cool.
So, but anyway, I thought about this the other day because like the bro truck scene, I think Kenny made a comment or maybe it was Ron. And I'm like, you know what? All we are is the old guys. It's another generation coming down the pipeline that takes a vehicle. It could be an Audi, like what you guys are into or whatever, right? Or
Yeah.
it could be a C10 and it's like another spin on a generation's take on a vehicle.
Yes.
And I thought about that the other day because I was working away and I think Ron and I were chirping about something. We're making fun of Tanner, I think it was, with this because Tanner's got this big set of wheels, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, but I thought, I'm like, what's the difference between us making fun of Tanner and then my dad back in the day going, why would you spend money on a polished wheel like my Weld Super Singles, right? But now we're like, Weld Super Singles are the shit.
Yes, they
But-
really are.
Then I thought, oh fuck, we're the old people. We're the old guys that are like, how come those kids are lifting them so tall and, they're useless and this and that. I'm like, oh, dude, I think we're getting old, John.
I mean, but I still consider you the I don't know, you're like your truck. I was trying to find Tanner's Instagram. I can't find it. You have trucks that are more bro trucky.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
does Kenny.
Oh, for sure. Well, Kenny's is more. Well,
Kenny's has turned into a monster truck now.
yes, it's a monster truck with boggers and stuff. I don't think that's bro truck. That's like, what would you call
I don't
that?
Because yeah, it's not like yours are the. I need to go back to the other screen, but like the SEMA style bro truck, but they are like the big lift.
They are right, but I don't think. But I keep on going. Like at some point, you have to like realize that people's styles, and I guess is my point, is like always. It's gonna be always changing and evolving.
Always evolving.
Right, like it could be doing 6.4 bumpers on these trucks, or it could be doing,
which I almost was into, and then
give or take,
I like never got around to it, and I'm glad I didn't because you have to cut the frame horns. You know, like
which sucks,
and
right.
Like, but yeah, it's
Colin. Oh, put that out. Jesus, look at that thing.
That is
the yellow. Why would you?
Oh, and the wheels?
Yeah. I mean, like the yellow in the wheel is like pretty hard to take. The rest of the truck's like, eh. The one with the side by side, I mean, it's not.
How do you unload that side by side?
Yeah, go down to that one, Colin.
Picture.
Let's look at the side by side one. That would be that. Maybe you back up to. You find a loading ramp at like a Target.
Or yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of money spent on that truck.
And different strokes for
That's what I'm
folks.
saying. I was gonna like, let's do a whole bash on bro truck thing, but really, how can you bash on someone? I mean, a style that if you were to go back 15 years ago or whatever, there's people bashing on like, why would you spend money on a weld wheel or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Like that seems stupid. You can't really. You have to polish them and keep them clean and stuff like that. Now we're all about it.
They'd probably bash on us for what we like.
Now see that? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bro there.
What I can't get behind is these links.
Yes, the curved links and all the
and they're all fat, like they're all plate and they're all like cut out. There's not a whole lot of meat left in them.
I always think that just a round like tube DOM looks really good, all powder coated. Like, why do you church it up? Why do you have to go? But I always think about all the dirt and stuff that gets in the cracks and crevices. How do you get that out?
I don't know. I get dirt in the cracks and crevices of the suspension we make, and it drives me nuts. And it is not anywhere near as pockety, or I don't know what the word would be. Yeah, that stuff. Those are the ones, and just like strength wise, I
don't think they're taking those trucks on whoops like you're after.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's not happening.
I want to perform well off road
and look good.
Yeah. The one I do like some fabricated radius arms, like I think Carly's Super Duty radius arms.
They look good.
Look really good.
They do.
Thurin's.
Look at that truck. Cool. That truck's pretty rad. That's pretty cool.
That's a
Delfab.
Yeah, Delfab.
Yeah, who did the Bronco?
Super Duty single cab. With what is that paint?
What is this paint? You're seeing this paint scheme on a lot of stuff right now.
In fact, like the old Explorer. Do you know what?
Tequila Sunrise.
Tequila Sunrise.
Is that really what the name of it?
I mean, that's the concept.
So check this out. Brian Castleman texted me a picture of a brand new Bronco that came into their dealership. Like Brian Castleman works at the biggest Texas Ford dealership in Fort Worth area, right? And someone bought one, and it came with that color scheme.
From Ford?
From Ford.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either. Unless someone put a wrap on it.
Yeah.
That could be. Anyway,
how do you feel about wraps?
I'm not really a wrappy guy. Oh, the color. Oh, sorry.
I wasn't asking you to start
the music.
Rapping.
I don't know. I think it has its place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Colin, what do you think about wraps? You like them?
Depends.
Okay, depends. All right. Yeah, it depends. I've seen some flat colors that look cool.
Yeah, I just don't like when I guess I haven't been up close to one where when you open the door and you see like I just don't,
the seams and stuff.
Yeah,
you see all like the
or you pop the hood and it's all like white. And,
it's a black wrap.
Yeah,
I think it probably depends on the price you pay for a wrap, the quality.
I mean, that's just like a paint job.
And I think it'd be impossible to wrap the underside of a hood.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have that.
Yeah.
And you might be careful with the heat underneath the hood, the wrap would come off. So you probably always have that, like the color's different but if you were to buy a vehicle that's white and you go, hey, I want to do a flat white wrap,
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That I could see that.
Yeah. And for businesses, wraps make sense.
Yes. For
I mean,
marketing and
stuff like
being
that.
able to do all that.
If you have a truck that needs a paint job and you said, hey, screw it, I'm just going to do a wrap instead. I feel like that's like, hey, it's a price point thing and great. You're doing something rather than just drive it with the clear blowing off of it as you rip down the road.
Right.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and some wraps look really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taylor Days actually looked really good.
Yes.
For a long, I mean, like
and he like changes it.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cool because you get to change your color rather than pay for a paint job that is permanent. And let's be honest, paint jobs, if you spend the money on a real high quality one, you're worried about scratching them. And, yeah, right. With a wrap, you just like, dude, I got a chip in it. You know, it got messed up.
Right.
You know?
That's, I think about that often because I kind of want to paint my white truck, just repaint it white, but then I'm going to be worried about rock chips.
Yeah.
Which happens constantly. And like you can tell a Central Oregon car for sure by the peppered front end.
Yeah, you guys get it hard here. Windshields too.
Windshields, yeah, I budget
rockers
for at least one windshield a winter.
That sucks.
You know, with the different vehicles that we drive.
Now, I would say like a wrap would take care of a lot of that. I know. So Cowboy Truck and the Blue Truck are going in for that clear. There's a company out of Salem that does that.
Clear bra?
Yeah, on the rockers, just because of, but we're not as bad as you guys over here in Central Oregon, but a wrap would be awesome for a truck that, okay, maybe it's got some clear coming off of it. Maybe it isn't like the show, like the nicest thing, but you want to market it as your business and make it look cool.
Yeah.
So I think a wrap, I mean, like done right, I think they have a place. I really do.
How are you going to handle, so when I had my, my nice Audi S6 wagon, somebody had done clear bra on it. I think probably when they bought it. Actually, I had the receipt for it. So yeah, it was like from the dealer.
They wrapped it and
just like all the the mirrors and all the areas. And I wanted to take it off and because it had chips in it and whatnot. And I talked to a detail buddy of mine. He's like, I don't think I would pull that off because the paint you're going to be able to see where it was because of how the
shininess of it.
Yeah. And I like, how do you prevent that from happening, down the road? I
think you'd have to like really, my stuff stays inside. So you'd have to make sure it's not outside getting bleached out or whatever, but
it's not changing.
Yeah. I would think that would be it, but I'm no paint expert.
Not even.
I just did it because the Cowboy Truck is a dually and you have, the flares come out. And that was the first truck. I didn't do it on the hood or the stone guard up front, which is underneath the grill.
Yeah.
I just did it on the rockers and on the dually flares. And we're going to do it on the Blue Truck because that's brand new painted. So I figured let's at least do it on the rockers.
Right.
But that's the only place I would do it.
Yeah, you're not going to drive that truck where...
Right. I mean, that's just a truck to rip around. I mean, like to go out on a Saturday or Sunday when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
So, but I think a wrap would be something for for over here. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah. I guess Do
you remember what the early wraps were for OBS Fords?
No.
It was the chrome trim of the bottom. I always joke about the chrome trim that you see on some of the stainless ones.
Jack's old truck.
Had that. But then when you pull it off, it's like it sucks because the you can see where it's at.
Yep.
And the dirt's been behind it forever.
Scratching.
Oh, it sucks.
That's one of the things I learned from a window guy is whenever you wash your car.
Yeah.
When you're done, you should roll all your windows down and take your finger in the
in the felt
and get all the grime out, and that'll help prevent from having those scratches on the windows.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I had my windows tinted, and you could tell that there was some of that scratching on the front windows,
right?
When they were clear. But then once you had them tinted, you're like, oh my gosh, it looks like somebody took sandpaper.
Well, I got scratched on the Cowboy Truck that you noticed. Like that shit happens all the time. And the back windows for crew cabs we can't get yet. Fronts you can, but the rears we can't.
Can't get any new ones?
No, we haven't found anyone that's reproducing rear glass for our crew cabs.
Well, luckily they're flat, so a good glass guy.
They have a curve to them.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Which sucks. So keep your rear glass healthy.
Yeah, I try to.
So, I don't know the wrap thing, like you said though. I think it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Colin said there's now self-healing wraps as well for off-road use.
No shit. There you
Wow.
go.
Self-healing.
How does that work?
Heat.
You heat it up and
and it
this
just,
like
blends back together.
damn.
That's pretty sweet.
Good thing we got Colin here. Help
I
us with all
know.
this shit. All right.
And the chat section is sweet.
All right, let's do the marketplace. We got to beat some stuff up. We've been too nice right now.
Okay, so this is going to be a test
Okay.
because where do we want to go?
Let's go to the south.
The south. I was hoping we were going to find in Vegas our the vehicle we were going to drive home.
Oh, well, a little too.
I know.
We're a little too early for that.
Where in the south?
Colin, give us a place in the south, quick.
South Carolina.
Okay.
South
It's got South in the name.
Carolina. Greenville. Let's go Greenville
I like it.
with an 80-mile
I think that's
radius.
close enough to find some shit boxes. Oh. Whoa. Check out the $16,000 one.
Okay.
It's not a shit box. It actually looks pretty good.
16 grand 97 F250 crew cab short bed in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
On factory Alcoas. That thing looks actually really good.
Yeah. All right, let's read the description. So it's that. Is it tramline? Every time
I don't know,
screw
dude.
this up, it's the dark forest looking green crew cab short bed F250. An extremely nice example of a sought after classic 7.3 power stroke crew cab short bed, clean undercarriage interior, with the exception of original carpet being stained dirty. Truck has been drove many long distance. No check engine light. Runs smooth. Shifts well. 35-inch tires.
I like the comment he made there. All windows and locks operate correctly. That's something in OBS Ford you should probably tell people if they're not working, because a lot of times they do not.
Oh yeah,
Right?
I have one door in mind that the wire
Is broken in the flex.
The lock is stuck down and broken off.
Oh, all of it. You got the trifecta
dude.
going on. That's something people should actually probably post about our OBS Fords. Like, hey, are your door locks and window motors working? They
Yeah.
sure are. So this guy's ahead of the curve on this one.
So it looks all factory, right?
Ugh, those mirrors.
But it's got are those West Coast mirrors?
I don't know.
Is that what
I
they
call them the jungle gym mirror because it looks like a jungle gym you'd play with or when you play like you'd swing on
But
as a
did
kid.
They come from the factory that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a fact. Ooh,
It had the bed hooks on it.
she looks rough. And now we're looking at it starting to like reveals like starting to get rough here.
It has the big P power stroke
Because we didn't know it was a
sticker
power
on
stroke, so
on
it's
the
got
back
yeah.
windshield.
I always like that.
Tailgate's a little rough, but
This
the
thing's-
bumper's pretty straight.
I don't know. Can you go back to the side of the bed real quick? I just want to illustrate, so give people like what we're looking at here. So you got the holes in the bed where I always call them like the cleats for your boat.
Yes.
Like whoever invented the cleat hold downs should be shot.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing. You put these cleats on the side of your truck, you do a rope on it, and then the rope rubs on the paint?
Yeah.
Great idea.
But it's a pickup truck.
Oh.
It's just a utilitarian vehicle.
I always thought you park that on the shoreline and you hook your boat to it to tie your boat off.
I know, right?
Like a cleat, that's what a cleat's for.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page here.
And you just, you got to do the right rotation.
I'm learning that, by the way. Owning
Yeah.
a boat now, I'm learning that. That's a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
You
I
got
got-
to know how to tie your lines.
And I got to learn knots too.
Yeah. If you can't tie knots, tie lots.
Oh, okay. That's how it works? Okay, perfect.
The best knot to learn is going to be a bowline.
That's what I've heard from my lineman buddy.
Yep.
Okay.
If you can tie a bowline,
You can do anything? Okay. So moving on, we got to settle. What?
The exhaust
Oh.
exiting before the back tire. Not a fan.
I think that's a great way to make sure one wheel never matches the rest.
Yeah.
To smoke
yeah.
out that one passenger side rear. Like I always want it a little bit foggier than the rest, right?
Yes. Yeah, just a little. I mean, this truck's not perfect. It's got a lot of little dings and dents. It's got a lot of tread in the tire.
Is this still on a stock shackle like suspension
couldn't
setup? It looks
see.
like I just had to add a leaf to it.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, factory front suspension. It's got a Hydra tuner.
It does.
Seats look like they
got 300K. It's got 300K, so we're gonna see some stuff like that.
Well, it's got 343. It could have 443.
That's
it
true.
Could have 5.
It could be. It's a mystery. Headliner sagging. Got a rip in the headliner too.
Oh yeah.
That's 16K worth of truck here.
I don't know.
I think
it is a cruise short Power Stroke,
which they only made for 2 years. They only made that 2-year truck. Oh yeah.
Yeah. At least the interior lights are holding it up.
There's nothing worse than your headliner getting saggy.
I know.
You might as well just take it out.
Yeah. I have one. The white truck has that.
It sucks.
It needs to get redone.
It is like you get in it, you almost feel more claustrophobic because it's coming around down on your head.
Yeah. Yeah, and you feel like dust is going to come out of it or something. I don't know.
I always worry about mice being in it. If a truck has been outside, there's like mice and stuff get up in them. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the seats, the door panels aren't terrible.
All around, it's not bad. I don't know if it's 16 grand good, but it's not bad.
No, I mean, okay, I was thinking it'd be more rusty, but we're not seeing everything. But the underside looks somewhat, I mean, it wasn't undercoated, so you get the chassis stuff.
Oh, it's got a Spectra filter.
Well, it's for race mode.
Yes.
It's a race truck with a filter like that. And just flopping around, I think that's the best way to run an air filter.
Same.
Yeah, just let it, just like, you're free, air filter. Do your own thing.
Do your own thing.
Yeah.
My favorite battery cables.
Ends.
Yep.
Yeah, the crimp, the bolt on, like it just smashes them in there. You know what you do? You tighten those every oil change. That's what it's maintenance.
That way it starts every time.
Yeah, because it's like you take a good set of, like, maybe those were a decent set of battery cables, and you cut the end off, you know, and then you like just let it flare out and you crimp it down, and then like next thing you know, you need to crimp it a little more. It's just it's a maintenance item, like greasing your ball joints or tie rod ends.
Exactly. It's also got a pretty shiny new vacuum pump.
Well, maybe it's a build. It's like going through the motions and like slowly rebuilding this thing.
Well, those just also fail a lot, and we have fixes for that.
You do have an electronic vacuum pump deal that works really well.
Not with, but
what's the belt
only
situation?
works when combined with yours.
What's the belt? Looks like I just look like the belt was kind of getting
It does look like the belt is questionable on that. That might just be the picture.
Okay. Hold on, go back real quick. Are you guys catching this? We got 350 on the clock, give or take. Maybe more than that, right?
Okay.
Colin, check this out. Factory upper radiator hose with the factory clamp, still doing God's work.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, let's be honest here, people. We're bashing on some shit here, but like, still factory hoses because he's still a heater core, and you're
have like the Ford part numbers on them.
Yeah, he's still factory hoses.
Yep.
Thank you, Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Like you really made one here. Like,
yeah.
Still going.
No, that works.
Yeah. Now we can't say that for Audis because the plastic would have been gone by then for their cooling system.
That's what I get. I have some hoses in Trin's car that are nearing 300,000, and I'm like,
You probably put your finger through them.
No, I do have one that's soft, but I can't find a replacement.
Oh, well, let's move on. Let's find something else to make fun of. I mean, it's not a terrible truck.
It's not terrible.
Let's find something really like, the smokestack. Can we talk about the smokestack one?
Yeah. Yes.
Can we talk about that?
You run this one.
Okay. What we have here is a 97 F350 dually 7.3 diesel, runs, drives perfect, just rebuilt front end and put new front brakes on it. And that's a weird way to spell rotors. Is that right? Rotors?
No.
And calipers. Has brand new tires. Truck, comma, has brand new tires, comma, please. Truck runs, drives perfect, heat and AC, and had all service bed on. Original, was going to put a flatbed on it, but haven't got around to it. Man, I mean, there's some like grammar here, not that I'm an expert, but $4,000 cash, firm, no trades, clean title in hand. If adds up, it is for sale, firm in price. Don't waste your time or mine. Have a great day. I like to have a great day.
Yeah.
It says he cares. Like, genuinely, have a great day.
And he used an apostrophe on don't, but didn't use any other real punctuation in the rest of it.
Hashtag 4000 cash. Wouldn't it be a $sign?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no expert, but that's
most people your age would call those pound signs, but
most people my age, that's racist.
Yeah, I think it would be ageist.
Would that ageist? Okay,
Yeah.
so the best part of this truck, I love the smokestacks. We've got big semi-truck smokestacks out of the top of this thing.
And it appears to be a wood bed situation.
It looks like a quarter bed. Wouldn't you call that?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, quarter bed. It does have Nemo mirrors, which is interesting for an F-350.
Yeah, dually.
And you know what? Check out the wood. It's super patinaed,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's there's more. There were more wood planks on it.
But the nails, okay, this is great. this is good stuff. So not only did it have a wood like structure to it, it looks like for a bed, but they cut. Am I seeing like the 2x4 with the nails in it is like barely cut for the tire?
Yeah, I believe that's
Interesting.
what we're seeing.
Is that like when you put your baseball card in your bicycle and it made a dirt bike sound? They did the same thing where the 2x4 just barely rubs the tire and makes like a cool sound.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's got the engine cover sitting on top of the tranny hump inside the cab.
Interesting. Okay. Headliner also left a long time ago.
The gas tank switch.
Don't need that.
The headlight knob or just
You don't need headlights there. You have a flatbed. Or what used to be left of a flatbed. Wow.
Yeah.
Easy to get to the fuel sender because it's like easy access. In fact, you can
How much you want to bet that sending unit doesn't read accurately?
It doesn't matter because all you do is you pull up to a pump and you can just pop the whole ring off for fast
look
fill.
down in there.
You don't even need the fuel filler nozzle or neck.
Yeah.
You just like pop the sender out, just right into a top.
Right into it.
Yeah. I mean, $4,000.
Tires have decent tread.
Well, except for where the 2x4 rubbed it.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't shown us that one yet.
Yeah, the other side had more wood. I think that wood structure might be into the frame. I think that was an optical illusion.
Oh, maybe it was.
Maybe.
I don't know.
No,
I don't think so.
I think
You know what that
I'm
reminds me of is when you go to Newport or like anywhere on the coast and you find the old pier
Oh yeah.
that's been there for a long time and like half
half
of it's gone, a quarter of it's gone.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
As a kid, you want to walk that thing, right? You're like, oh, I want to walk down that so I can jump from this part of the pier that's left to the other one. So,
And as an adult, you're like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Okay, what else we got? There's some interesting stuff here in the South here.
What do you say we do one more and call it?
I'm good with that. Whoa, that two-tone is pretty cool looking. Please be nice.
97 F250 Super Cab HD long bed in Fayetteville, Georgia for $38,000.
I hope this thing is nice.
Okay. Selling my beautiful 97 OBS F250 diesel due to starting a business. Good for you.
Nice.
This OBS truck is in absolutely beautiful shape with nothing wrong with it. I have maintenance logs since it was new and have kept them ever since. It has been well taken care of and never abused. You will not be disappointed. You can hop in and drive to Alaska and back if your heart desired to. Engine runs strong with only 151K and transmission shifts smooth. It has been a Georgia truck its whole life, so you will not find a speck of rust on the truck anywhere. Underneath is just as clean as the truck. Brand new rough country 4-inch lift, 35-inch Nitto trail grapplers, new shocks, fresh alignment. All original, no aftermarket chips or exhaust, never molested at all. Clean title in hand.
That color combo is awesome.
Yeah, that's the same color combo as my crew cab short bed.
Yeah, which is probably why I love it.
So it's the gold with white stripe, gold in the bottom. It's got the steps, the extended cab, fiberglass.
Which are way cool. I love those steps.
Somebody told me they made them for a crew cab, but they're like mega rare. I don't know.
I remember seeing them and they looked weird because they did the double hump thing, if I remember right.
Oh.
But I think I've only seen one.
There's his maintenance log.
I like that. I like that it's still in stock Alcoas. There's something about Alcoa with a big rubber tire. It looks really cool.
Yes. Toolbox in the bed.
Tailgate panel looks legit.
Yep.
The old thumb over the license plate. You can't trick me. I was going to find out where it's at. I was going to get your IRS number, your social security number.
I love that. Rear bumpers.
Oh, it's super clean. The whole truck looks amazing. Look at the interior. Okay. bench seat. Now this is kind of interesting. So that bench seat is rare because if it's a true bench that came out of those, they fold forward, right? But they like do this weird scissor thing to get in the back seat.
Do they really?
Yeah. And you don't see that very often. It's weird because what year was this truck?
97, I thought.
Wow.
97.
Interesting. It has a bench seat. See how the
oh yeah, you're right. It folds and
like at a weird
bends.
angle. Like I think that started at the bullnose trucks. They did that to get in the back seat. But the interior is like legit on this truck. Everything's clean.
Very proper.
Stock engine cover and the intake on the airbox still is there, which is you don't see that very often.
Yeah. No, this is and the hood mat is pretty decent.
So we had Ryan Hausman and I and some friends were at the shop. We always do this thing. We have coffee on Thanksgiving morning, and someone saw that 54,000 mile truck that's in the shop, and they looked at it, and it's been painted. There's a bunch of fuckery with it, and someone made this comment. So you can tell that truck's been taken care of because the hood mat was just coming apart. And he goes, I think there's some like shenanigans happening with this truck. Is that hood mat represents a truck that has never been taken care of? So now I'm like looking at hood mats going, it kind of represents how clean.
Well
how well
truck's been cared for.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
That's a good looking truck. Frame looked good.
Yeah, everything looks really clean.
Would you pay $38,000? I would. Like that's a big number, but where do you find a truck that clean?
I mean,
now,
it's he's got the original sale tag for it, and it was $32,790.
I wonder if he's original owner. He didn't say he was.
I don't know. Yeah, he said.
I've only truck my whole life. Original owner. I see. Oh no, it has been a Georgia truck its whole life, so maybe not.
Yeah. Oh.
Whoa.
Call or text.
His name's John. Interesting. Hey, so I'm thinking older guy that we're just put a sticky note right there, right?
Yeah. Well, or because they know you can't put that in the ad.
Why is that? Why can't you put that in the ad anymore?
I don't know. Facebook's rules, or
is that something that you used to be able to just put
your phone number up, and
what if too many people got like mugged or
probably helps to prevent spam calls.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I do get a ton of those. Yeah, this thing's nice.
Way cool.
$38,000. It's I'm cheap. I'm not gonna spend that much money on an old.
Well, some people would, and I know there's some diehards out there that'd be all over that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, a pretty cool truck. I like we ended on a good truck instead of a bad truck.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
So.
No, it's a good one.
Well, I mean, we'll end on that note. Looks cool. Check them out. If you want a nice, clean, extended cab, long bed, 3/4 ton, go to Georgia.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'd go for it.
Right. Well, moving on, John.
I think we gotta wrap it up.
We're good, right?
We're good.
All right. Well, Colin, thanks for coming on the show and letting everyone hear your. I hate Toyotas and Subarus, even though you're in Central Oregon.
Yep.
You're an anomaly, I suppose. And John, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. We'll and I'm glad we're gonna keep doing these on schedule.
We are 100%, or our wives are gonna get pissed off at us. And Colin's gonna say, "I just wasted my time," so we don't want to do that either.
Exactly. So you guys are listening to the Truckery podcast. Be sure to check it out on all the different platforms, Instagram, and if you have any topics for us, Instagram direct message on the Truckery podcast or comments on the Spotify podcast.
Carrier pigeon, Zeppelin, we don't care. Just give us all the ways to contact us, or like ways that we could improve our content, joke around, have a good time. We talked about bro trucks, all kinds of shit today. So we love talking about everything when it comes to trucks. And even Audis, obviously.
Yes.
So thanks everyone. I'm Devin from OBS Solutions.
I'm John from Carrot Customs. Cheers.
Bye guys.